Hey everyone, welcome back to Restaurant Recap. I'm your host today, digital reporter for NBC 10 Boston, Matt Fortin. And today we are talking about pizza, Connecticut pizza to be exact. And we're joined today by Chief Marketing Officer for the state of Connecticut, Anthony. And with a name like that, Anthony, you could start your own pizza shop, I think.
You're right. Yeah, apparently there was a commercial years ago where there was a mom yelling out to the son, Anthony.
Oh,
It works out quite nice for me. Yes.
yeah, that might ring a bell. So we're talking about pizza, and I see the sign behind you right now. I just saw that when I was driving by through Connecticut last week. Welcome to Connecticut, home of the pizza capital of the United States. And we're talking today because Connecticut pizza is really having a moment, it seems. So we were just covering last week that Sally's opened its first location in Boston, and they've got another one on the way. And Frank Pepe's, they have locations now all up and down the East Coast. So people are really starting to notice Connecticut pizza. But I know that it's not a secret. I mean, people have loved this stuff for over 100 years. I used to live in Connecticut. I know how great it is. But what is going on right now with Connecticut pizza, a Beats, if you will? I mean, people are really loving it.
Well, first of all, thank you for pronouncing it correctly, a Beats. You know, that's what we're known for in New Haven. But in general, the pizza across this state, in my opinion, is the best damn pizza in the country. In the world, if you will. And it's not just, the thin crust, chewy, charred Beats. We were the birthplace of Greek pizza. We've got really, really solid, different types of thick pizza. You also have just like the general Neapolitan and tavern style, that Colony Grill has become famous for. So I think we've got it all. But the reason why it's having this moment, we are just basically taking what has come before, the legacy of the pizza makers, really the pop culture moments that have been spurred by Dave Portnoy, David Chang, and others who have really appreciated it. And we've just bolted a supercharger on top of that. So whether it's these highway signs, like the examples of the ones you're seeing behind me, or the billboards that we put in New York and New Jersey and Chicago and Detroit, calling them out for their pizza. We're really intentionally creating this friendly food fight to raise the level of conversation around pizza. And it's not just good for our pizzerias here, it's good for pizza makers across the country.
So, yeah, let's start there. So what do these signs say that are up in kind of your biggest areas of competition, we'll call them? And I know that your guys' claim of being the pizza capital of the United States, that has garnered a little bit of pushback from our friends down in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, so this is not just a claim. This is now in the congressional record. So Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, back in, I believe it was May 2024, so a little over a year ago now, she read it into the congressional record. It's in the Library of Congress. So it's official, baby. I mean, granted, the government is shut down right now, so I don't know if that applies when it's shut down, but regardless, we took it. And look, I'm a marketer. It's my job to tell a really good story, and why let the truth spoil that? So whether or not people agree with it or not, we're most certainly leaning into the identity, and people are talking about it. So we're taking what used to be known as a drive-through state with Connecticut. In reality, we're making it a drive-to state, where people have not just something wonderful to eat, they've got a reason to stick around and try out more stuff. So, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, I mean, you were talking about, some of the, I think Portnoy has said that he thinks Connecticut has the best pizza in the country too, which that's a pretty important endorsement. I mean, social media must be playing a huge role in this too, because I mean, you can't open social media without seeing just like a ton of food content and these restaurant bloggers and everything like that. So, I mean, that has to be such a tool right now, but you have to be harnessing it the right way. So I'd imagine that's a huge point of emphasis for someone such as yourself, making sure, the right story gets told on social media, because so many people, I think, decide where to eat, where to go based on what they see come up on their For You page.
Absolutely. Social media is a huge driver, not just of conversation, but of engagement. We knew early on that when we started talking about pizza, even amongst ourselves, not just my team, but external partners, people were very passionate about it. So we really wanted to leverage that engagement to continue the conversation. But the biggest piece of it, it's not just about what you communicate and what you market. I think the key to sticking out in this very crowded, fragmented media landscape that we're in, it's how you communicate it as well. So, as I said before, Connecticut is people have passed through it historically. And we've got more people moving here than ever before. Our population has increased faster than the national and regional averages over the last 4 years. So as a result of that, we're really trying to tell a true and authentic Connecticut story of who we are becoming and who we aspire to be. And I think an identity, something like pizza, really tells a different story of who Connecticut is compared to what people may have expected in the past. You kind of got that Fairfield County image of sweaters around the neck and dockers and country clubs. And I'm not saying that's not part of Connecticut, who it is, but there's a lot more to it. So pizza is a really good thing to be known for.
All right, yeah, and let's get back to that. So, I mean, how did Connecticut become the pizza capital of the United States? And I'm not talking about how it was written into law. I'm talking about the, why did Connecticut just happen to become this place where great pizza is made? I know that some of these legendary spots in New Haven go way back, specifically Frank Pepe's. And while we're at that, can you remind me of the lore between Frank Pepe's and Sally's?
Sure. So let's do a little fun history lesson. It's story time, so people gather in closely around the fire. So when you look at the European diaspora and people moving to the United States, the Northeast became a natural landing point for so many people. And it wasn't just Ellis Island. That was really the entry point, and they spread out all over. Like, for example, my family immigrated to the U.S. from Cyprus, and they came in at a different entry point, North Carolina, and then moved their way up north. And they're Greek. So you see a lot of Italian immigrant families coming into New York and spreading down south to New Jersey and beyond, and then come up north to Connecticut. And we actually have the highest number of Italians per capita of any other state in the country. So with that being said, naturally, you're going to have very, very good Italian food. And pizza is one of those key pieces. And so Frank Pepe, 100 years ago this year, we just celebrated their 100th anniversary back in June. Frank Pepe opened this little business at what is now known as The Spot, owned by Pepe's in New Haven. And he was making bread. And he put some red sauce on top, and people were buying it by the dozen, left, right, and center. And that's really how Frank Pepe's Pizza became famous. And we're not just known for, people always see pizza as cheese or other great toppings. Our plain pie here is not a cheese. Our plain pie is just tomato sauce, maybe a little pecorino romano and olive oil, and it's absolutely delicious. And so that's what it became known for. And Frank's nephew, a guy named Sally Consiglio, he spun off and went right down the street and started his own pizzeria. And so that's how you have Pepe's and Sally's. And the lore is that they, had a beef and they fight over it. The reality is it is the most tight-knit group of people. I mean, sure, it's nice in the news that when people are fighting, it gets a lot of clicks, but that's not really at all the case. It's like Jordan versus Bird, is a media constructed narrative that works nicely, but people are friends behind the scenes. And so we've seen whether it's Pepe, Sally's, Modern, Grand Beats, all these families all work very closely together. They know one another. And so pizza is really this thing that brings people together as opposed to separating them. So that's how I do think we became the pizza capital. It's not just cheeky billboards and highway signs. It truthfully comes from heritage and a lot of love and passion in a craft.
And how did that craft evolve to what we know New Haven pizza to be today, where it's that super, super thin, a little bit charred style of pizza that really is, it's, I don't know, even though it's like chewy, but it's crunchy. It's like, it's so
Yeah.
delicious. And it rocked my world. I'm a graduate of Quinnipiac University, and I remember trying it for the first time down in New Haven on Worcester Street, and I was like, "This stuff is crazy." I mean, has that evolved over the years, or has that always just kind of been the way it's done in New Haven?
So that has evolved very slightly. I mean, look, when I was telling you earlier about Frank Pepe and the bread that he was making, of course, that was a little bit thicker, but it has become what it is today. And it's stuck that way for a very long time. So you've got the thin, very chewy crust. I mean, if it doesn't, you have a little, if it doesn't require a little force in pulling it off, it's not quite a Beats. You got the charred edges. And all of those things really make that quintessential New Haven a Beats. And so what makes it that? It's, well, first of all, the OGs, Pepe's and Sally's, they had coal ovens. So these 14 by 14 coal-fired ovens, and then they're still using coal in those locations, grandfathered in to be able to do that. So that's how you get that flavor. And the ovens are super hot, and that's how they get the char on it. So there's a very thin line between char and burn. And so if you're not from the area, I think, some of these folks may think it's burned, but really in reality, it's not. We see it as like a seasoning. And so it gives that extra little bit of flavor in addition to the really fresh ingredients. And the other piece too is, I think there's an argument between many people of, hey, is it the water? I think the water most certainly plays a small piece in it. Scientifically, it may not be much different, but the fact of the matter is you can't make authentic Beats if you don't have New Haven water. So that definitely plays a part in it.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me more about how business has really expanded. I mean, this has gone from, only something that you can get when you're in New Haven to now, like I said, I mean, we have Sally's and Frank Pepe's right here in the Boston area now. And I mean, Frank Pepe's has locations as far as Florida now. It's crazy to me. So, I mean, this is really becoming something that's nationwide.
It really is. And I think that it's partially pop culture. I do think that people built on the expansion of delivery pizza years ago with Domino's and Pizza Hut. And then, I grew up on the Ninja Turtles. And so they made me a pizza lover very early on. And now, with appreciation for documentaries and docuseries and Netflix and Hulu and all these other channels, have really started to shine a light on places with rich foodie cultures and heritage. And so Connecticut really got put on the map with that. Like back in, I think it was 2016, 2017, David Chang did a great episode of Ugly Delicious, which is on Netflix. And they came up to Pepe's and told that story. And then Portnoy started doing One Bite. And it's really just exploded since then. So again, we've been doing it for more than 100 years. The only difference now is the stories being told.
Yeah, for sure. So, and speaking of stories, you guys actually just put out a pizza trail, right? So it's 100 spots. You had a survey with like 13,000 people. I don't know how you can explain to me how that worked, but tell me a little bit about this and what people should know about it.
Sure. So it's the 100 top pizzerias across the state. It was determined by a public vote. More than 13,000 people voted. We also had a panel of 10 judges who was comprised of food critics, influencer foodies, and restaurateurs. And so they helped kind of round out the list, but they didn't really change a whole lot from the original top 100 as determined by the public. It was only like a good 20 or so, like 20%, just making sure we were hitting some of the spots. And we just dropped that last week. We put it out October 1st. There's also 5 honorable mentions of places who make great pizza, but maybe that's not their normal shtick. Like maybe they may only make it 2 days a week, or they make a different kind of pizza, like, a Middle Eastern style or an Indian style. So that is all out there for people to try. But really what we've done is we've elevated that conversation about Connecticut pizza. We're sticking our flag in the ground and telling people we have the best. And now we're backing it up by saying, you may not agree with us, but this is your curated list. This is your chance to come try it all and decide for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and it's more than just the beats. And you said that when we started, right? It's not just that style. I think that's most famous. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so 5 styles on the list. You've got a beats, you've got Neapolitan, which is the biggest aggregate of style on there. Like, we intentionally chose a couple of names that throw a little bit of shade at our regional neighbors. So like, I didn't want to call it New York style. So that is really more of the Neapolitan. We also didn't want to say Chicago or Detroit style. So that fits into thick. So you've got a beats, Neapolitan, thick, Greek, and Taverna. And again, Taverna is that uber thin, more cracker style-ish piece that Chicago actually does more frequently than even the deep dish.
Like you said, though, it's all friendly.
It is friendly. We have orchestrated this beef, the pizza wars, with the full intention of, again, raising the awareness of the conversation and making sure that at least we feel Connecticut comes out on top. I feel like people have been sleeping on us, and now we're getting that story into the world.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what else is a piece of that? You said that, Connecticut, you feel like it's been seen as kind of, a drive-through state in years past, and, people are starting to realize all that it has to offer. I mean, what else is part of that story that you all are really working on making sure people know about other than pizza? Because I know that's a big part of it, and an important one.
It's actually the biggest part of it. So I took this role about 2.5 years ago, moved to Connecticut, almost 5 now. And as soon as I moved here, I'm originally from, I lived in New York prior to this. And I realized, after, again, living in New York, always driving through Connecticut and not stopping, that first of all, there is so much to do here. And not only is there a lot to do here, it pairs with an incredible quality of life, always top 5 best public school systems in the country, top 5 accessible healthcare, always among the safest states in the nation. So when you pair that with great things to do, it really makes for a wonderful place to live. But sadly, when I moved here, I realized that there was a lot of folks who were really down on Connecticut. I think that probably comes from a decade or so of coming out of the Great Recession, and people moving out, businesses moving out, and that trend is reversing. And so, long story short, all of this is part of a strong reputation push. It's to change perceptions of Connecticut and also boost our economy, making sure that not only more people are visiting, but more people are moving here. Again, our population has grown in the last 4 years. And so when you have more people living here, that gives a good accessible workforce to businesses. You have more businesses investing here. So it's really a live, work, play marketing strategy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from a marketing strategy and just a character and cultural perspective, I mean, you guys are kind of between a rock and a hard place. Just in the fact that, I mean, you're right in between Boston and New York, which you're well aware of, and those are 2 very loud and proud cities. So that, you do kind of have to be assertive and say, hey, well, this is what we do here in Connecticut, right?
We do have to be assertive. And actually, I wouldn't change our place, whether it's geographic or spot in people's hearts and minds. I wouldn't change it for the world. I think we actually have an opportunity to intentionally be different and zig when other people are zagging. So yes, we are going to change that whole idea of land of steady habits and be a little bit more assertive, go out there and occasionally beat our chest to drive that conversation and demand attention where it's deserved. I mean, it's not like I'm going out there and saying we have the best tacos in the world. It's pizza, baby. We do it really, really well.
Anthony, if you had to have one pizza for the rest of your life, where would it be from?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would have to say, all right, so it's my neighborhood pizzeria. This is the pizzeria we get every week in my household. And it's not just because we love it and it's delicious, but it's also because they've got gluten-free pizza, which my wife and daughter both have celiac. So it's this place right here, Naples Pizza. It's in Farmington. The group there, they do a great job. And, we probably single-handedly keep them in business with the amount of pizza we buy in our household.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, you're a regular. All right, good to know. Well, I'll have to check it out next time I'm in town. Anthony, thank you. I mean, it's all fun. It's all pizza. I can't wait to try the new Sally's here in Boston to get my pizza fix.
That's my question for you. When are you going to go?
I don't know. ASAP. It's hard.
Well, if you do go ASAP, they have their seasonal pizza right now is called the Spicy Little Meatball.
Okay.
I had it last week. It is fantastic. So it's not just the meatballs. They have hot peppers on there and a little bit of like hot honey. So you really kind of get this best of both worlds of spicy and sweet.
Yeah.
It's magnificent.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. Yeah. It's across town from where I live. So it's a commitment, but I know it'll be worth it. And it's closer than Connecticut. So that's good too. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll let everyone know where to find that pizza trail so they can go find their own favorite type of Connecticut pizza. Thanks again.